Unit 1. What are the Earth's plates? On planet Earth, the land and the oceans sit on plates that are moving very slowly. Over millions of years, Earth's plates have moved and broken. Today, we have 7 big plates and some smaller plates. There are oceanic plates that are under the ocean and continental plates that are under land. Some plates, like the South American plate, are under land and oceans. The line around a plate is called a boundary. Scientists have to use special equipment to watch the plates move. It's difficult to see the plates move, but sometimes we can see where the plates meet. When 2 plates meet, a mountain or a volcano can appear. The movement of the plates can make the volcano erupt. When the volcano erupts, it can throw rocks and ash high into the air. This can cause a lot of damage. Lava can come out of the volcano too. Lava is very hot and can start fires. Most volcanoes are underwater, so they're not dangerous. But millions of people live near volcanoes in countries in Asia, South America, and Europe. Sometimes, where plates meet, an earthquake can happen. The movement of 2 or more plates can make the ground shake. Earthquakes can cause a lot of damage. In some places, small earthquakes are quite common. The San Andreas Fault runs through California on the west coast of the USA. This is where the Pacific Plate and the North American Plate meet. Millions of people live in California, in cities like San Francisco and Los Angeles. Here, there are thousands of small earthquakes every year. The Earth's plates can create amazing scenery and cause natural disasters. Let's find out more. Unit 2. What different ecosystems are there? An ecosystem is where different kinds of animals and plants live together. Plants and animals get food, water, and shelter from their ecosystem. The climate of an ecosystem is very important. You can find grassland ecosystems, where the climate is hot and dry for half the year and wet for half the year. Animals like giraffes and zebras eat the plants in the grassland. They are herbivores, and animals like lions eat them. They are carnivores. You find wetlands in different climates, but only in areas with lots of water. Many wetland plants grow in the water, and many of the animals can swim. In very cold, snowy, and windy climates, you can find tundra. There are only a few small plants here. Carnivores like bears and foxes live on the tundra. Ocean ecosystems are full of amazing animals and plants living together. The desert ecosystem is very dry. Deserts are areas with very little rain. The plants that grow in the desert need thick stems and leaves to keep water inside them. Animals that live in the desert don't need a lot of water to live. The rainforest is a very important ecosystem. Rainforests are hot and wet with lots of rain. The rainforest is full of many different types of plants. There are lots of beautiful birds, amazing insects, and thousands of other kinds of animals. There are herbivores and carnivores in the rainforest. There are many different ecosystems. Let's find out more. Unit 3. What music genres are there? People enjoy listening to and dancing to different genres of music. Orchestral music is one of the oldest genres of music. It started in the early 1700s. The music of composers like Mozart, Beethoven, and Vivaldi is still popular today. The music is played on a large group of instruments called an orchestra. There are often violins, cellos, a harp, trumpets, flutes, and many other instruments in an orchestra. A large orchestra can have more than 100 musicians in it. Jazz started around the early 1900s. Popular jazz musicians include Nina Simone, who played the piano, and Louis Armstrong, who played the trumpet. Jazz is often played by small groups of musicians in a band. In a jazz band, there are often instruments like the piano, drums, and the saxophone. There can be other instruments like the guitar and the trumpet, and sometimes there's a singer too. Rock music started around the 1950s. The first famous rock musicians were people like Chuck Berry and the King, Elvis Presley. Today, rock music sounds a bit different than it did in the 1950s. But it's still very popular. Musicians in a rock band usually play electric guitars, keyboards, and drums. The singer often plays a guitar too. People first started playing and dancing to hip-hop music in New York in the 1970s. Hip-hop musicians play electronic instruments, while rappers talk over the music. Famous hip-hop musicians include the American rapper Missy Elliott and the Canadian rapper Drake. There are lots of different genres of music. Let's find out more. Unit 4. How is chocolate made? We can make some of our favourite foods at home. To make pasta, it's easy to get all of the ingredients we need. We can buy eggs and flour at our local shop. The process isn't very difficult, but it does take some time and skill to make delicious pasta. So most of us buy pasta at the supermarket. This pasta is made by machines in a factory. Today, a lot of the food we eat is made in a factory, including chocolate. The most important ingredient in making chocolate is cacao. Cacao trees only grow in hot and sunny climates. Most of the cacao we use to make chocolate comes from countries in the west of Africa. Pods grow on the stem and branches of the cacao tree. When the pods are yellow, orange, or red, they are ready for cutting. The farm workers cut the pods open. Inside, there are lots of white seeds. These seeds are called cacao beans. The workers cut the beans out of the pods and they leave them to dry in the sun. The seeds change color as they dry. When the beans are dry, they go by lorry and ship to chocolate factories around the world. At the factory, the process of turning cacao beans into chocolate begins. First, the beans are cleaned and roasted until the outside comes off. Next, they are made into a chocolate paste. Other ingredients like sugar, milk, or butter are added to the paste. The chocolate paste is put into a mold until it gets cold. Then the chocolates are ready to go to the shops so we can eat them. Delicious! The process of making chocolate is very interesting. Let's find out more. Unit 5. What materials did Native Americans use? The Native Americans lived in North America for thousands of years before the Europeans arrived in the late 1400s. Different tribes lived across the continent of North America. The tribes had different languages and cultures, but they all used the natural materials from the land around them to make the things they needed to live. For thousands of years, the Native Americans' lands were full of bison. The bison were very important to the Native Americans. They used every part of the animal for food and for materials. They made the bison's skin into leather. Leather is a soft, strong, and waterproof material. The leather was used to make their teepees and their clothes. Today, we still use leather to make shoes and bags. They used the soft skins and furs from animals like bears and beavers to keep warm in the winter. They also sold the skins to buy the things they couldn't make. They used the wood from the trees growing around them to make fires so they could cook food and stay warm. Some tribes also used wood to make totem poles. They used totem poles to tell stories about their families and history. The Native Americans used hard materials like stone and animal bone to make tools. They also used hard materials to make colorful beads. They used beads on their clothes and shoes and to make beautiful jewelry. Life for the Native Americans was very difficult after the Europeans arrived. Their land was taken from them, and most of the bison disappeared. Without these things, it was difficult for them to live. Native Americans used lots of different materials. Let's find out more. Unit 6. What are some traditional arts? When you go on holiday to another country, you should try to see some of the traditional arts of the local people. You can often find objects made by artists at local markets. Traditional arts make great presents for people at home. In Japan, artists are very good at making things out of paper. The Japanese art of folding paper is called origami. Origami artists make all sorts of shapes and animals. In Indonesia, artists paint on fabric. Artists use hot wax and colourful dye, a special ink for fabric. This kind of art is called batik. In China, artists use ink to create art with their writing. They often write short poems. It looks amazing. Traditional arts, like basket making, are a bit different around the world. Artists use local materials and have different ways of making the baskets. You can often buy local baskets at the market. They are a great souvenir. Paper marbling is a traditional art in Turkey and in Japan. In Turkey, this is called Ebru marbling. The artist puts some artist's oil in a bowl of water. Then they drop some paint on the water. And they make swirls of paint. The oil and paint make a beautiful marbled pattern. The artist puts paper into the water, and when they take it out, the pattern is on the paper. Turkish marbled paper is very beautiful. There are lots of different ways to do paper marbling. In Japan, they use ink, not paint, and it is called suminagashi. There are lots of different traditional arts. Let's find out more. Unit 7. What do we know about theatres? Today, there are many kinds of entertainment. But in the past, things were different. Before the 1940s, people didn't have a TV in their home. TV only became popular in the 1950s. Before TV, people went to the cinema a lot. The first cinemas opened over 100 years ago. But before that, the best place for entertainment was the theatre. And the theatre is still popular today. These days, when we go to the theatre, we sit in comfortable seats. The audience is very quiet when the play begins. Before they go on stage, actors put on makeup and costumes. They check that they can remember all the words to the play and that they've got all their props. Then the play can begin. There are many different kinds of plays. Men and women play lots of different characters on stage. Today, comedies and musicals, where the actors also sing and dance, are very popular. There's a lot of technology in a theatre today. Sometimes there are special effects during the play. The effects are often controlled using a computer. Theatre today is very different to theatre in the time of Shakespeare, but his plays are still popular. People enjoy the history plays about kings and queens. And they love crying at tragedies like Romeo and Juliet. The best way to enjoy the plays of Shakespeare is to see them at the Globe Theatre in London. Here you can see what theatres looked like 500 years ago. Shakespeare's theatre was very different to today's theatre. Let's find out more. Unit 8. How are jobs on farms changing? There are many different kinds of farm, and there are lots of different jobs on these farms. Today, some farmers still use traditional farming. Often, their farms aren't very big. On traditional farms, the farm workers look after the animals without using modern machines. They feed the animals by hand. The animals usually live outside. If the farmer grows crops, there's a lot of work to do. Some farmers still use horses and traditional machines to help on the farm. They have to plant all the seeds by hand. This is a slow process. Farmers have to watch their crops carefully and water the plants in the fields. They try to stop insects from eating the crops without using chemicals. When the crops are ready, the farm workers have to collect them by hand. This is tiring work. Farmers on traditional farms sometimes sell their own fruit and vegetables at the local market. Farms using modern farming methods are often very big. Farmers can grow lots of crops and keep thousands of animals using modern technology. Today, farmers can use computers and lots of different machines to make their work easier. They can even use drones to see everything that is happening on the farm. Farm workers use machines to look after and feed the animals. A lot of the animals live inside. There are machines that can plant seeds and collect the crops when they are ready. This is quicker and easier for the farmer. Farmers can grow crops inside polytunnels. The farm workers can control the heat and water inside the tunnel so bad weather doesn't damage the crops. Huge machines are used to water the crops, and special chemicals are spread by machines to stop insects eating them. Modern farms produce a lot of food. Most of it goes to factories and gets sent to supermarkets. Jobs on farms are changing because of technology. Let's find out more. Unit 9. What kinds of marine animals are there? 70% of our planet is covered by water, and our seas and oceans are full of an incredible variety of marine animals. There are thousands of different types of fish. Fish can breathe underwater. They are cold-blooded. Their blood changes temperature with the water around them. And they lay eggs in water. Most fish have scales. Fish come in all shapes, sizes, and colours. Some fish use camouflage to hide from other animals. Sometimes they look like a plant, and sometimes they look like the sand at the bottom of the sea. Sharks are fish, and the biggest fish on Earth is the whale shark. The whale shark swims with its mouth open, collecting food. Seahorses are fish too. Some seahorses look like coral, so they can hide from other animals. Mammals can't breathe underwater. They can swim underwater for a long time, but they have to come to the top to breathe. Sea otters, dolphins, and whales are mammals. The biggest animal on Earth is the blue whale. It can grow to over 25 meters long. Mammals are warm-blooded. Their blood is always the same temperature. They don't lay eggs. They give milk to their babies. Orcas are mammals. They are carnivores. They eat animals like seals. Sea snakes and saltwater crocodiles are reptiles. Reptiles can't breathe underwater. They are cold-blooded. They lay eggs and they have scales. Sea turtles are reptiles. They lay their eggs on beaches. Then they go back to the sea. They eat sea plants and grasses. Because mammals like orcas eat the turtles, they have colours and patterns on their shells that look like the sea plants and rocks. It's good camouflage. There are many different kinds of marine animals. Let's find out more.